started, go ahead and come to the front of your chair so that you have lots of room around you. And we're going to start with 10 power-ups, nice and slow, to get our bodies moving and wake up our posture. So we'll come down and then power up, arms out wide, fingers wide. That's 1. Come down. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. All right. So we're going to do a crunch, bringing your opposite elbow to your knee and then resetting with arms wide in between. So crunch, arms wide. And let's do 20 of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. So for the next exercise, I want to do a sit to stand, but then do a really exaggerated slow movement as you sit back down. So for the sit to stand, I want us to practice a forward reach and then stand up tall. And then as you sit, I want us to count for 5 seconds. That's how slow I want us to go. So as I sit, I'll count 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So really controlling our sit as we go back down. So let's do 10 of these sit to stands really slow on the way down. So lean forward and we'll stand up. This is 1, and then 5 seconds, nice and slow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Nice job. Reach forward. This is 2, and nice and slow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Reach forward. 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Reach. 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this is number 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Halfway done. 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Last 2. 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Great job. If you have trouble where when you're sitting down that it feels like you often flop, that's a great exercise for you to practice so that you can really control that. So now let's move into a twist and hold. So I'm going to reach with one hand for the back of my chair, and I'm going to hold here for 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and switch. Reach for the back of the chair with your other arm. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's do that again to each side. Reach for the back of your chair and hold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And reach. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now let's bring a knee up to our chest. We're going to hold it here. You can add an ankle roll if you want to. I'm going to do a 10 count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Switch legs. Again, a 10 count here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Let's switch legs again. See if you can roll your ankle in the opposite direction this time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So for the next exercise, I want you to kick your legs straight out in front of you. And then while keeping your knee lifted, I'm going to have you do a knee bend. So my leg is staying up off the chair at the end down here. So I'm not letting it rest, but I'm lifting it a little bit. And I'm going to, as I bend back, my foot isn't on the ground, but my foot stays in the air. So think about doing a knee curl, keeping your leg in the air. So let's do 10 on one side and then we'll switch. So knee out and 10 bends. 1, 2, try to straighten out all the way in between. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Let's switch legs. So straighten your knee out and then keep your foot in the air as you bend it back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Let's switch again. Other leg, my knee is straight, and I'm gonna keep my foot in the air as I bend back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, and switch again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Let's do 10 big shoulder arm circles, shoulder rolls, reaching forward and coming back down. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And then last warm-up exercise, start with your hands out in front of you with your hands together. We're going to open our arms wide and then bring them back in. Let's do 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Awesome. We're going to get started with some of our interval exercises. I'm going to change my view real quick. All right. So I have 4 exercises for our first circuit. I'm going to demonstrate each of the exercises. So you don't have to join me yet, but just watch so that you know what's going on. So the first exercise is going to be a sit to stand, except I want you to straighten one leg out in front of you. So this is going to bias my back leg and put most of the weight on my one leg. So for the sit to stand, my one leg will stay out straightened. I'm going to stand up, straighten my posture, and then sit down nice and slow. You don't have to do that 5-second hold coming down, but try to prevent yourself from flopping. So we'll stick to one leg for the full round. And the second time through, we'll switch so that your other leg is out in front of you. If you're staying seated for this exercise, why don't you do an alternating leg kick like we did kind of similarly in the warm-up where you're kicking your leg out straight and bending it back. That's your option if you don't want to stand up and sit down. So the next one we're going to do is a backward stepping lunge. So I'll start with my feet together, and I'm going to step backwards and bend my knees. But as I do that, I'm going to raise my arms up. So as I step back, my arms are going to come up and then step together. And I'm going to alternate my legs. Step back, arms raise, and step together. If you're seated, I want you to do a power step for this exercise. Stepping out, stepping in. Stepping out, stepping in. That's your second exercise if you're staying seated. The next one I want to do is similar to our crunch that we did for warm up, except now we'll be standing. Elbow to knee, open. Elbow to knee, open. To add a little bit more challenge, you can add your hand weights with this. And then the last exercise we'll do is a modified plank with a row. So I'm going to lean onto my table I have here. You could lean on the back of your couch or even angle yourself at the wall. And I'm going to do a row. Bending one elbow and then the other, alternating. If you're seated, you can do a row from this position. All right. So we have 4 exercises. We're going to do 1 minute on and 30 seconds off. And I'm going to have us do 2 rounds. So if you are going to stay seated, I will mostly be showing the standing version, but I'll halfway through, maybe I'll jump in and do the seated one just to make sure that everyone is still on track with what they're doing for both of them. So we're going to repeat this once, but we'll take a slightly longer than 30-second break after the first round. And then we'll take a longer water break after we repeat it. So our first exercise is that sit to stand. Go ahead and get yourself set up for that. One leg is going to be straight out in front of you, one leg behind. We're going to stand up and sit down. And remember, if you're staying seated, this is where you're going to do the alternating leg kick, okay? So 1 minute is on the clock. Let's go ahead and begin. So one knee is straight out in front of me. Most of my weight is sticking on my back leg. We have 1 minute of exercise here. A lot of focus on strengthening exercises today. You are halfway done. So keep up with your sit to stands. If you're seated, you're doing this alternating leg kick with me. But everyone else keep up with those sit to stands. If you've already started those, you have 15 seconds left. All right, and rest. 30 seconds to rest, and then we're going to get set up for our next exercise. If you are seated, this is your move. Stepping out, stepping in. Stepping out, stepping in. And for those of you who are standing, you can join me for that backward stepping lunge. We have about 7 seconds, and then we'll get started with this second exercise. And begin. Step backwards, raise your arms overhead, step together. And as you lunge, let both of your knees bend. You guys look good. Keep it up. Halfway done. And it looks like those of you who are sitting have it down. So I'm going to keep with my lunges. Make sure to add those arms, either reaching overhead or reaching out to your side if you're doing the power step. 10 seconds to go. All right, 30 seconds to rest. Our next exercise is going to be that elbow to knee crunch. And I'm going to grab my hand weights for this one. But your option. You can try it without. If it feels easy, grab your hand weights or drop them at any time if you need to. All right, let's begin. So crunch and then open. Crunch, open. After you get the rhythm, see how quickly you can go. Really trying to reset your posture with arms wide in between. Good job, everybody. Halfway done. Keep pushing, 15 seconds left. And rest. 30 seconds, and then we're doing a row. So this is either leaning on the edge of your couch or on the edge of a chair, doing a row, or sitting, squeezing your shoulder blades back. No matter what position you're in, try to keep your elbows tightly tucked at your sides. Don't let them come out wide, but it's like you're drawing your elbows back, scraping along the side. All right, let's begin. So for the row, I'm going to alternate when I'm in my plank, but you can stick to one side if you want to. Nice job. Everyone's looking good. And your plank, make sure that your back is staying flat. And I want my back arched up, but one long line from my shoulders down to my feet. You are halfway done. All right. So that was the end of our first round. I'm going to give us about a minute to take a break, and then we're going to repeat all of those one more time, and then we'll take a longer water break. So my intention as we do these intervals is I want to keep our heart rates up, doing high intensity aerobic exercise. So that's where those shorter rest breaks are coming in. I want you to be able to reset and grab some water, but I also want to keep your heart rate elevated. So about 30 more seconds, and then we're going to start over with that sit to stand exercise again. If you didn't switch legs halfway through, which I wasn't, but if you happen to do that, stick to what you were doing. But otherwise, bring your other foot out in front this time so that we're putting more weight on the other leg. About 10 seconds to get ready. All right, let's begin. So we're doing our sit to stand. One leg is straight out so that most of the weight is on your back leg. If you're seated, you're going to do this alternating leg kick, but you are on the clock, so keep it up. I'll bring my camera down a little bit so you can see how my leg is propped. So one leg is out, propped in front of me, and I keep this knee straight as I do the sit. You are halfway done. Remember, if you're seated, you're doing this alternating leg kick. 15 seconds to go. All right, take a break. 30-second rest. And then we're doing our backward stepping lunge with that overhead raise. If you are seated, you're going to do that alternating power step. This is your seated move, but you still have 15 seconds to rest. Five seconds. And begin. So backward stepping lunge with an overhead raise. Letting both knees bend as you step back. Everyone's looking good. You're about halfway done. Five seconds to go. Keep pushing. All right, take a break. 30-second rest. Next, we're doing that opposite elbow to knee crunch with or without your weights. I'm going to be picky about your reset position. After you do your crunch, make sure you're opening your arms wide again to this open posture before you crunch to the other side. Couple seconds to get ready, and let's begin. Crunch and open, crunch, open. That looks better. Nice job, everybody. Crunch, open, crunch, open. Really nice. As you get the swing of it, see if you can pick up your speed. Last two exercises here, and then we're going to take that longer break. Good job. 20 seconds to go. Three, two, and one. Awesome. 30-second break. We have one more exercise. This is our row. If you're seated, you're going to do squeezing your elbows back to pinch your shoulder blades, or you can get into a propped position, into a modified plank, and do it from here. About 10 seconds to rest before we get started with this last one. All right, let's begin. Last minute of work. Make sure your back is staying flat if you're in the modified plank. Halfway done, 30 more seconds. And rest. Great job. That was the end of our circuit. Grab some water, have a seat. We are going to continue with a second strength circuit that's a little more focused on upper body for our second round. While you are having some water and resting, I'm gonna start to demo these exercises. You don't have to join me yet. Take your break, but I'm just gonna start to explain them. The first one is gonna be a forward shoulder raise and then an outside raise. So I'm using my weights for this, but you maybe even just want to use body weight to get started. So forward raise and then side. What you really want to pay attention to as you do this exercise is making sure that your shoulders don't hike. As you raise your arms forward, if most of it's coming from your neck, it may be too heavy with the weight you've chosen. So maybe you want to try to do it without your weight and see if you can let your arms come forward without hiking your shoulder up. So pay attention to that as you're doing that first exercise. The second exercise is a tricep dip. So this you can do at the edge of your chair or at the edge of a couch, either spot. So you're gonna scoot off the edge and my elbows are gonna bend and push me up straight. Bend and straighten. You'll probably want to straighten your legs out in front of you. Sometimes when you keep your knees bent, you end up doing all the work with your legs. But if your knees are straight up in front of you, then you can let your arms do the work. So that's our second exercise. The third one is going to be a march with a bicep curl. Or if you're seated, doing the bicep curl on its own. So as you march, I'm going to bend both of my elbows to do a bicep curl. That is our third exercise. And the fourth one is a sumo squat. So I'm going to make my legs really wide for this one, and I'm going to keep the weight in front of my hips so that as I squat, my hands are reaching towards the ground and back up. And with this one, what I'm going to be picky about is keeping your chest up. Don't let yourself bend forward as you go down, but I should be able to read the words on your shirt. You should keep your chest up even as you squat down. Making sure to keep your chest up as you go, but those look good. If you are seated for that sumo squat, what I think I'll have you do instead is an alternating jack. So stepping out and in, stepping out and in, or do it together, out and in, out and in. That's your seated move for the fourth one. I'll try to go in between them a little bit. That way, if you're seated, you can still make sure that you're doing the exercise correctly. So go ahead and join me in standing for our shoulder raise. This is our first exercise. We are going to do the same pattern where we'll do 1 minute on and 30 seconds off. And we'll do that 2 times through, but I'll give you a slightly longer break after the first set. At any time, if you feel like your shoulders are starting to hike, drop your weights and do it with just your body weight. We have 1 minute. Ready? Looks like most people are situated. Okay, let's begin. So we have a forward raise to a side raise. Forward raise to side. Looking really good. Posture is staying tall. Chest is staying up. Looking good. And this one is more about control than speed. See if you can keep your speed as slow as I'm going, because it actually takes more strength than if you're going quick for this one. You have 20 seconds left. All right, looking good. Take a break. Let's get set up for our tricep dip next. If you are not comfortable doing the tricep dip, your alternative is going to be straightening your arm out with your elbow at your eye height. So my elbow is out in front of me at my side, at the side of my head, and I'm straightening my arms up without moving my elbow. My elbow doesn't move, just my hands do. So that's an alternative, or we can get set up for a tricep dip. So I'll bump my camera down so you can see me a little bit. My legs are out in front of me, and I'm using my arms to push me up and down. Make sure you're not feeling it in your legs. This should be all upper arms. And for the dip, my hips are actually scooted off the front of the chair so that I'm in front of it. You are more than halfway done. Good job, everybody. Ten seconds to go. And rest. Good work. I was starting to sweat on that one. So next we are doing that bicep curl as you do a march. You still have 15 seconds to get set up. And let's begin. So doing a bicep curl while I coordinate it with my march. That looks great. Notice I'm not going for speed on this one either, because it's all about control with my bicep curl. I want to do a slow curl so that I get the most from that muscle having to do that strength movement. Halfway done. Five seconds. And rest. Nice job. Our last exercise is that sumo squat. As a reminder, if you're seated, see if you can do a full jack or a half jack. This is your seated option if you're not comfortable doing the standing squat. Okay? 5 seconds to get ready. I'm getting my feet pretty wide for this one, and my weights are going to stay in front of me. So as I sit down into my squat, I'm keeping my chest up. That looks good. Make sure you're sitting your hips back like you're sitting in a chair and keeping the chest up. Nice job, everybody. Halfway done. And rest. Good work. We're going to take a minute rest break and then repeat all these exercises one more time. Everyone, it's looking good with these. We have 30 more seconds. And then we will do that round 2. Same 4 exercises, same pattern. 1 minute on and 30 seconds off. And we'll take a longer rest break after this one. Let's say about 5 seconds to get ready. We're going to start with that shoulder raise first. And we're going to get started with round 2. breathing forward and out to the side. My chest is staying up and I'm making sure I'm not hiking my shoulders as I go up, but that I keep my shoulders down. See if you can keep your elbows straight for this one, even if you need to drop your weight. Looking good, halfway done. Last 15 seconds. This is the last time you'll see this exercise today. All right, take a break. Next, we are doing our tricep exercise. I will be doing the dip, but you can also do, if you want a modification, elbows straight out at the side of your head, raising your lower arm up and down. So my upper arm from my elbow up to my shoulder doesn't move, just my lower arm does. So let's get ready and begin. I'm going to be doing the tricep dip, scooted at off the edge of my chair. I keep my legs straight out in front of me because sometimes if they're bent, I end up doing more of the work with my legs. And you are almost halfway through. Good job, everybody. "15 seconds to go." Nice job, last few seconds. And rest. Good work. We are going to get set up for our bicep curl. If you're standing, we're going to coordinate it with our march. About 15 seconds to get set. Last two exercises, and we'll be done with our intervals today. Go ahead and begin. Nice and controlled bicep curl with that march. Doing the slow march also requires you to keep your balance on one foot for longer. So going slow gets a little bit of balance training with this. Halfway done. Keep it up. Nice job. Take a break. Our last exercise is going to be that sumo squat. My option for you if you're seated is either a half jumping jack or a full jumping jack. If you're seated, this is the option I want you to try. Otherwise, if you're standing with me, we're going to do that wide set squat. 5 seconds to get set up. My feet are wide apart, and I'm going to keep my weights in front of me. And let's begin. Sitting your hips back, but making sure that your chest stays forward. You're not leaning forward. You're not bending your back, but sitting back at your hips. Everyone looks great. Last interval exercise here. 20 seconds to go. Nice job. Go ahead and take a break. That is the end of our circuit training. After you grab some water, go ahead and get your floor mat out. We're going to move on to our power moves. But I'll give everyone a couple minutes here. If you're not comfortable getting onto your knees, you can definitely do these power moves in sitting. A couple great modifications if you have trouble kneeling is try adding a cushion under your knees to make it more comfortable. Or if you have trouble balancing, my favorite option is to kneel in front of a couch or chair so that you have something to hold on to balance from. So we'll still do about another minute here and then we'll get started. Start making your way down to your knees into this kneeling position. We'll start with the power up. So for the power up on all fours, I'm going to do a small bend. And then with a lot of amplitude, come up into tall kneeling where my chest is straight and my arms come out. If you're seated, your power up is the one we started with in our warm up, where you're leaning down forward and straightening your arms up from sitting in your chair. So let's do 10 of these together. Count up by fives with me at home as we do these. We'll do 10. So we'll come down and up. This will be 5. Control down. 10. Down. 15. Down. 20. Down. 25. Down. 30. Down. 35. Down. 40. Down. 45. And 50. Looking good. Our next power move is our power rock. So for this one, I'm sitting my hips back into a child's pose position, and then I'm rocking my hips down forward. My elbows stay straight, and I'm just letting my hips come down as far as they can, where I can do it comfortably. If you're seated, the power rock looks like reaching across. Try this with me if you're seated. Reaching across, resetting in the middle, and reaching across to the other side. Yep, that looks great. So that's the move you'll do if you're staying in your chair. So let's do 10 of these. Let's count backwards by 3, starting at 30. Ready? So we'll rock back, and this will be 30. Looking good. Rock back. 27. Back. 24. Back. 21. Back. 18. 15, 12, 9, 6, and last one, 3. Good. So for our next move, you're gonna reach one hand up, look up at the ceiling, and then tuck that arm through, kind of like you're threading the needle. And then we'll switch hands. Reach up and tuck through, thread the needle. If you're seated in your chair, practice this one with me, where your arms start wide. You're gonna turn and clap, open and reset, and turn and clap to the other side. All right, so that's your seated power twist. So let's do 12 of these. Let's count the months of the year backwards as we do this one. So we'll start by reaching up, and then this will be December. Switch sides, reach up, November. Reach up, October. Reach, September. Reach, August. Reach, July. Reach, June. Reach, May. Reach, April. March, and last 2. February and January. Nice job, everybody. Our last power move is our power step. So for this move, you're gonna build momentum by rocking back on your heels and then taking a big step forward. So I want your foot to come up next to your hands. If that is trouble, if you have trouble getting your foot out far enough, you may want to try this modified position. It's much easier to get a big step. If you're seated, as a refresher, your power step is stepping out and back in. Step out, back in. So I want to practice 20 of these, 10 on each side. Let's count by 2s as we do this. This is our last power move. So I'm going to start by rocking back to build momentum. And this is 2. Step back, 4. Back, 6. Back, 8. Back, 10. Back, 12. Back, 14. Back, 16. 18. 20. We are halfway done. 22. 24. 26. 28. 30. Good job, everybody. 5 more. 32. 34. 36. 38. And 40. Awesome work. Take your time coming back up to your chair, and we're going to finish with a little bit of cool down stretching. So I love that last power move, the power step, because it's really practicing the transition that you need to do to get up and down off the ground. Looks like most people are close, are making their way. For those of you who are here, we can just start with some gentle shoulder rolls while we're waiting for everyone to, or most of us to get back to our chair. Start with going backwards. And switch, and let's go forward. Let's continue stretching out your neck. Bring your ear to your shoulder. And I'm going to use my hand to give an extra pull. This hand's going to tuck behind my back. Let's hold it for 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Roll your head to the other side. Then switch arms. Again, let's hold for 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Roll your neck to the middle and slowly look up. Let's straighten one leg out in front of you. Keep that knee straight and bend forward at your hips. Hold here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Switch legs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Bring that leg up across your lap and push down at your thigh and gently lean forward. You should feel the stretch on the back of your hip. Let's hold here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Switch sides. Pushing down on your thigh, lean forward at the hip. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Let's do a shoulder stretch. So bring one arm across your body and pull it close towards you with your other arm. You can do a wrist circle as you're doing this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Switch sides. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Last one, let's reach for the back of your chair. I'm going to brace my left hand on my right knee as I twist. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Switch sides. My right knee is coming to, or my right hand is coming to my left knee and reaching for the back of the chair. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. All right, everybody, we're going to finish up there.